Hello, and welcome back. This is Beyond Evil Podcasts, the YouTube version. This is the what the fuck version to the regular version of a podcast. So over here is where I basically give you the highly opinionated version of a case. So with that being said, I'm going to give you all of my opinions about this case. This is the case of two Virginia Tech engineering students that took the life of a 13-year-old. David Eisenhower, an 18-year-old freshman from Columbia, Maryland, and Natalie Keepers, a 19-year-old sophomore from Laurel, Maryland. They took the life, they will be convicted of taking the life of 13-year-old Nicole Lovell in 2016. So January 27th, 2016, Nicole disappears from her home where she lives with her mom in Blacksburg, Virginia. Her and her mom live in an apartment. She decides that she's going to climb out of her bedroom at midnight to meet a boy she's been chatting with online. This boy so happens to be David Eisenhower. So she's been chatting with him online. And prior to her deciding that she's going to sneak out of the house at midnight at 13, she tells her friends. She tells her friends that I got a new boyfriend. He's 18. He's in college. His name is David. He loves me. I don't know if she said that, but she's 13. So she tells him, which is a good thing. It's a good thing that these kids still got loose lips, because she told somebody. So she does this hours later, because this is a Tuesday night going into Wednesday. So actually it's midnight. It's Wednesday now. Her mother would go to wake her up, and she would see that the bedroom window was open. The nightstand is pushed up against the window. Her daughter's backpack, jacket, cell phone, and she has a Minions, those little yellow things, the little Minions characters, a blanket. It's gone. She panics because several years back, she had a liver transplant, and she has to take anti-rejection medications twice a day. So her mom is in a panic. I mean, not only is she in a panic because she has to take this medicine, she's in a panic because her daughter is gone. She doesn't know if her daughter went willingly or if she was forced. She doesn't know anything right now, but she just knows she's gone. So she runs downstairs. She's asking neighbors, have you seen my daughter? Anybody know where she's at? And she's calling her daughter's cell phone number. Her daughter's not answering. So she calls the cops. That's it. I'm calling the cops. I'm right there with you. So she did. She calls the cops, and they get the story about the anti-rejection medication. She's 13 years old. Everybody is out full force trying to help find this little girl. So a detective goes over to speak to her friends. Thank God her friends snitched her out. They said that she was planning on meeting her boyfriend, he's 18 years old, and his name is David. It was very difficult to figure out or find anything on what the evidence was, because basically they said the evidence that they gathered on the 27th and the 28th, because this happened on the 27th, the police picked up David on the 29th. So the evidence that they picked up on the 27th and the 28th led them to him. I'm trying to figure out, what evidence is this? All I can think is his IP address or something computer wise, because he was talking to her on Snapchat, Kick, and some different online chat rooms. And I'm like, this is in 2015 and 16. What chat rooms they got that these little kids can be, that little kid 13-year-olds know about? But then, I mean, we got 8-year-olds that know how to work a computer better than half the adults. So that's just what it is. So sorry about that. So basically they got some kind of evidence where they know that the David that these young girls were talking about is David Eisenhower. So I'm just like, oh damn. Okay. So they pick him up. So the former Virginia Tech student, who was then 18, he sat to talk with one of the FBI agents. The FBI agent is questioning him about the disappearance of Nicole. David explains he had been messaging a girl in an anonymous chat room that they don't know me, I don't know them, we just chat. And then that he also used to chat with her on Kick. He doesn't know her name, but he knows that she's 16 or 17. Okay, come on, bro. You don't know her name, but you know she's 16 or 17. She don't know what age she is. She's either 16 or 17. She's never both. So what? So therefore he already full of shit. And he should have been, you should have been prepared. You should have been better prepared. So he decides that, he's just, I don't know who she is. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. That's all he keeps saying, right? So they continue to question him. And then he ends up telling them, yes, I agreed to meet with her. I went to her house. When I arrived at her house, I saw this girl come down the window and she looked to be 11 years old. And I was like, that's not for me. And I drove off. And when I drove off, I decided I'm going to delete everything from the talking with her. So the Kick, the chat room, any way that she can even get a hold of me, I'm trying to delete it so she has no access to me because I thought she was older. Okay. So I think that, I'm sorry, I don't know how to put the pictures and stuff up. I will try to figure it out. Just, it's going to take me a moment, but they're on my website at beyondevilpodcast.com, and you can see the images of everybody. I can give you a brief description. All three parties are Caucasian. He is very rail thin. The two girls are on the medium side. The 13-year-old, she's every bit of the just leaving out of 11, 12, baby fat, still round in the face and in the body, like, the soft little, you're not fat, but you're not skinny look. The girl, Natalie, she is about average, maybe middle size. So, I don't know. But nobody is like, outrageously big, little, small, not look their age. Everybody looks every bit of their age. Actually, Nicole, she looks every bit of maybe still 12. So that when he said that was absolutely correct from the images that I saw. And I'm like, it doesn't matter how you make that face up. It still has that soft baby round. That it's not a grown woman's face yet. It hasn't made it that far yet. But, so he would then go on to say that, that he said, no, he drove off. He did all, he was like, he wanted nothing to do with that. And he tried to erase everything so that she had no contact with him. Later, they would keep interviewing him, and they're not buying it. They're like, yeah, no, she climbed out that window and now nobody knows where she's at. And you were the reason why she climbed out that window. So what'd you do with her? And that's basically what they said. Like, tell us where she is. David responded by telling him, I told you I do not know where she is. He eventually got so frustrated that he burst out of the room and said, I'm done. I'm calling my lawyer. Now, I'm going to give him kudos for that because I've researched so many killers, so many people in general, and they forget the word lawyer. Like, that's the first thing coming out of my mouth. You can't even come question me or come to my house and say, I need you to come down so I can question you. No, you don't. No, you don't. You better ask me what you want to ask me right now. Matter of fact, you got to stand out there and ask me, because you can't come in my house. So what you need to know on this side of the screen, I'm serious. I'm like, I don't know you like that. So no, I'm not. You too much, too many setups. I watch 48 hours. Or what is it? Another 48 or whatever it is, where, I mean, you give them a soda and a cigarette and they snitching everybody out. No, that's what we're not going to do. You're not going to have me thinking I committed a crime and confessed to something I didn't do. And none of that getting ready to happen, because the first words out of my mouth are lawyer. That's it. You can threaten me all you want with the, well, you know, this is your last chance. If you don't talk to me now, I won't be able to help you. You can't help me anyway. Especially if I know I done killed somebody, you damn sure can't help me. So miss me with that. So he did the right thing. I'm going to give him that much. He did the right thing with the lawyer. So he does that. And just so you know, the majority of all the information I'm going to be giving you in this case is going to be coming from the girl. He is the one who committed the murder. She dabbled. So, but he lawyered up, and that was it. You know, when somebody lawyer up, it's a wrap, and it's a wrap. Like, you're not going to get nothing out of them until you get to the trial. So we haven't made it that far yet, but he was like, So when he lawyered up, they was like, oh, okay, all right, we see you. Police get a little bit bitter when you do some stuff like that. So they were like, we're going to charge you with something. We're going to charge you with her abduction. That's what we're going to charge you with. Well, the ink wasn't dry on the paper yet before they found her. They found her 4 days later, but mind you, they didn't pick him up until 4 days later. So when they're still thinking she's somewhere, like they don't know where she at. I'm sure they thought she was dead at this point, because it's not huge. They haven't found her. They got everybody and their mama out looking for her. I mean, they got cadets from the Virginia Tech College. They got hundreds of cadets and regular students and professors and a drone. And law enforcement started coming from everywhere. So it was a lot of people looking for this little girl. So at this point, you on day number 4, everybody knows they're not looking for a live child now. Where we would hope to. Don't get me wrong, because I just read something where a child was found in under the house hiding in something, and everybody thought that she was dead. So I would have want her to be alive, but I know she wasn't alive, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the other people did too, especially being in that area and actually going through the motions. So, like I said, the ink wasn't dry on the abduction warrant before it got switched on over to murder. So I guess they thought, okay, you don't want to talk to us? We're going to charge your ass with murder. 1st degree. Lawyer. I love it, because I'm just like, you don't see that too often. So I'm just like, okay, all right, I see you. But you're still going to go to jail. But, so, he got that. And then when they charged him with murder is when he said, I have an alibi. My alibi is Natalie Keepers. Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Let us go check that out. So they posse up and they go on out to Virginia Tech College to the dorms. She's not there. Her roommate says she's probably at her boyfriend's apartment. It's off campus. This is when I get the, what the fuck? I thought it appears by this whole case and everything that she's feeling him. I understand. I mean, I already was like, really like, what the fuck? You like him and he like little girls and you still doing all this for him. But then I find out she got a boyfriend. So I'm like, you got a boyfriend? You got a whole boyfriend and you fooling with this dude and going to prison? Child, please. So she decides that, and they go out, they go to the boyfriend's house, they find her, and, they're like, hey, we hear you can alibi out, David. Can you come on down to the station with us? Me, like I said, no. Either I'm going to tell you I witnessed him or I didn't. That's it. That's all. They didn't even give her, actually, they didn't even ask her. They just said, basically, we're here to, this is what they said. You're not in trouble, but we need to ask you to come on down to the department. So this is an ongoing investigation. We don't know if you've heard, but it's about the disappearance of Nicole Lovell. She's like, okay. She goes. She got her backpack. She got her purse. She goes on down. They get there. Now, mind you, there's a lot of people. Remember I told you there was a lot of people searching. So the front area was like pretty crowded with news report, with everybody. So they took her around the back where the police officers, when they're coming on shift, they go through the back, like they don't have on their uniform yet or whatever, and they go through a back area that only cops can go through. So they took her through there, and then they took her to an interview room. She goes in the interview room. She's not read her rights. She's not restrained. She's not searched. The door is closed, but it's stated it's just for privacy reasons. It's unlocked. You can come and go as you please. The bathrooms are over here. Let us know if you're hungry. So I'm like, okay. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be a law-abiding citizen and decide that you don't want to shut them down at the door. That she's like, you know what? I'll go down. That's my friend. I know I saw him. He didn't do anything. I'm going to go down. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not doing it, but if you do, okay. And so you go on down and you're there. I'm thinking, okay, at this point, all right, you there 10, 15, 20 minutes. Let me tell you, and you're going to take me back home, right? Because you brought me here. This child would be interviewed for 27.5 hours. You heard that right. 27.5 out of 35. 35 hours they had her. They interviewed her off and on for 27. What the hell? Anybody got to say for a whole day and some change? Huh? Please. Okay. Now, something is clearly wrong. That's like, I'm already thinking something's wrong. And so I'm like, okay, let's see what's wrong with sister girl here. So she, they're questioning her, and mind you that they never say, were you with him, or like, will you alibi him? I'm not really sure how they ask that question. I mean, I've seen the little shows, but they just generally start going into the case. And then to me, they always like dive in to try to see what you did. Like they don't come straight out and ask the question that needs to be asked. And so I'm like, ask me what you want to know. Don't ask me nothing else. I'm not getting ready to tell you nothing else. I'm getting ready to answer yes, no questions. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just like, I'm not understanding when they were going to get around to the asking her about alibying David or anything like that, because I didn't hear any of that. I was just like, I listened to the trial, to the hours long where she's in there, and half of it just made me want to call a psychiatrist for her and take pills for her, because I don't know if it was going to get to her brain from her taking them. I just was confused. She needs some other help other than what she's getting. She need to be where she at, but she also needs some assistance for the brain. And so she's in there, and they're just pretty much just asking her. She first says she doesn't know nothing about the disappearance. She doesn't know what they're talking about. Your whole damn school is out looking for this little girl and you don't know. I'm gonna need y'all to do better. So she did. Then that didn't last long. Then she's like, David, she like just clearly goes off into some other la la land. Like, David told me he knew a girl and he didn't know how old she was. And when he found out that she was young, it was after he had already had sex with her. What? What? Child, ain't nobody asked you all that. Where you just start reaching for shit? What? So now at this point is when I think the officers knew, oh, we're going to be here a while. We're going to be here a while. So she's just random, like completely random in her interview. Like she just starts saying random ass shit. And I'm just like, Okay, come on, girl. What are you talking about now? So she's in there, and she would come up with so many different versions of what David was doing, what she was doing, what her and David was doing, what everything. They would be just different. So the cops are basically piecemealing together what they think happened by all the different stories that she's telling. So after her initial denial that she knew nothing about the disappearance, she then would say that David told her that he met an underage girl at a party, and he might have had sex with her. Once again, what that got to do with what's going on right now? I mean, I'm not saying that you can't put 2 and 2 and get 4, but I'm just saying right now we're talking about this other little girl. Is this little girl? Are you telling me that this is the little girl? Because if you're not, then we would talk about that pedophile situation later. But right now I'm talking about this missing girl. So she would then go on to say that she like blurt out, David forced her to move the body to where they discovered it. So now they definitely know that this interview is going to be a while. So this is where I wanted to jump through the screen and choke the shit out of her. She decides now her interview started at 9:45 in the morning. It's now 12:15. Girl, you ain't even been there that long to bust a sweat. Now, I mean, you signed up for this torture, so I'm gonna need you to at least make it through half the day before you don't do something stupid. Her ass signs written consent for them to search her phone. Now, what rock you been living under, or what the hell you left some of your cookies and sandwiches out your picnic basket, because your ass, nobody ever, you never, ever give consent to some shit like that. One, you know you committed this crime. You had some dabblings in it. So hell no, you don't give nothing away. I mean, and then even if you innocent, you just don't, just in case they find some shit, I don't know. You know what I mean? Some shit that you don't even know that's on there. You just don't talk to a lawyer. That's what lawyers are for. And at her age, she should have talked to her mama or her daddy. Oh, I was so mad at her. I mean, I was beyond mad. You signed what? Oh yeah, you wanted to go. You wanted to be locked up. So she once she did that stupid shit, I was done. I was done. So I'm still listening. I'm still listening to what the crap she's doing and what they're doing. Now, mind you, she admitted to texting David that same day. She texted him as the police were knocking on her door, or her boyfriend's door. She says, Natalie states that she knew, and these are her words, the child was dead, but continued to deny it because she knew that David killed her. Okay, so, well, yeah, I guess that's not an alibi witness anymore. Not the kind he's thinking. Okay, so now, mind you, she's supposed to be just an alibi witness. You know, you don't read rights to witnesses, but you do read the rights to folks that put themselves in the position to be an accessory, or, you know, any of the other crimes she committed while moving a body. I don't know. It's crossing the state line. It's got to be all kind of shit that's coming to their minds. But this is where I have a small problem with it. I mean, I want her locked up, throw away the key. Don't get me wrong. Don't come for me, because I will come for you. So don't. But just know, I just don't feel like somebody wasn't thinking this through, because they claim that the whole 27 hours, the detective got on the stand and even said his words. The 27.5 hour conversation, that's not a conversation. That's a full-blown interrogation. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, there's no way that you're going to tell me that that girl could leave. And he would say that. And she could have left at any time. So that's why you have these people swearing to God that they didn't kill somebody. They ain't ever killed nobody in their life because of shit like that. And then on top of that, Did you ever tell her, you know, you can leave? Or did you just hope she thought she could because you said the door was unlocked? But so that bothers me. So I'm just like, when she said she went and moved the body, that he made her move the body, there is a crime in there. And them being law enforcement, they are going to figure out a way to charge you with it if they can. So whatever crime you think you heard in that confession right there, you now need to be reading somebody their rights, because she now has committed a crime. That didn't happen. So didn't happen. So now she basically, she confessed. Like after that, after she done already signed away the phone, she done already said he forced her to move the body. She now tells him that on the 28th, she went to discard evidence. You know, they were Nicole's belongings, but she kept the minion blanket and it's in her dorm room. Yeah. Still not gonna read her rights. Okay. So they go to their dorm room. They find a blanket and the blanket's got blood on it. And they're like, okay. Now, mind you, they also got some other shit up their sleeve. They have her and David buying a shovel at Walmart on camera. So they tell her about it. They question her about it. She said, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't buy no shovel. I didn't go to Walmart with David." "Oh, okay, this isn't you in this video." Then she's like, miraculously, oh yeah, I did. You dizzy broad, you know your ass did. So they know you did, you know you did. So therefore, there's another crime right there. Crimes is racking up. So I'm just like, so per the detective, she's no longer just a mere alibi witness, but he still doesn't consider her a suspect. You don't consider her a suspect because once you do, you got to read her rights, and you're scared she's gonna jump ship. Well, this dizzy broad, you could have read her rights, and I would be feeling a whole lot better right now, because she's still stupid. So because she would go on to, first off, before she, you know, they come back and tell her that there's blood on the blanket or whatever, and they tell the detectives, the other detectives who found it, come and tell the other detectives. I don't know if they told her that they found it or whatever, because in the little interview they didn't say it to her. But she's in the room, and so she's having like some little batshit moments where she's like just randomly talking and saying shit, and you're like, what? So she just randomly said that she referred to David as a sociopath, and she refers to herself as a sociopath in training. What? So, okay. And then, you know, she goes on to say that the two of them became friends in the first semester of college. And in the second semester is when David approached her with the problem he had with a young girl during the second semester. And you decided this was going to be your friend. Okay. So apparently David met Nicole at a party. This is another story. David at a party. He thought she was 18. He had sex with her. Then he found out she was 13 after he had sex with her. And then she threatened to expose him and the whole relationship. So together, David and Natalie came up with a plan for David to kill Natalie so that she doesn't tell the secret. Who does that? Who does that? What? Tell the secret. Oh, well. I mean, because, yeah, you're going to be probably pedophile, probably. I don't know if 18 and 13, I don't know if that's statutory rape. I'm not for sure if it's pedophile. I don't know. But I'm thinking statutory rape, pedophile, whatever they're going to give you, that versus statutory rape, pedophile, murderer. Something about that. But okay. So they do that. And after David kills Nicole, he kills her. He hides her in an area called Craig Creek Road. I am assuming because he's very, very thin. He couldn't lift her by himself. But what does he do? he recruits good old Natalie, calls her, tell her come on down to, I don't even know if they talk like that. He tells her to come on down to help him. She comes down there. They strip Nicole naked. They wipe her down with Clorox cleaning wipes, put her in his trunk, and drive well over 90 miles away from Nicole's home, their school, all of that. It would later be said that David's grandparents don't live very far from there, and that's the address he uses to get in-state tuition at Virginia Tech College. So clearly he knew the area. I'm not sure why they moved her. Nobody ever said, maybe it was too open of an area or people go through there and they didn't want her found as fast. But hell, y'all just put her on a road, like an empty road. It wasn't like nothing. Like I saw a picture and was like, why there? What made you pick there? I mean, you already drove 90 miles. Might as well keep going and find someplace a little bit more. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. So that's, they did that. So now she's confessed to this. You clearly now have committed a crime, but still not charged. So, but the detectives did ask her why she agreed to help David commit such a brutal and heinous crime. This dizzy broad said, "It excites me to be a part of something special and secret." What? Yes, see, you clearly. I don't know how you got into this school, and I don't know how you in the engineer program, but either they got Legos in that class, or you got one of those brains that can only do certain things really well, and then the rest of your brain is just holding your skull together. I don't know, because child, I don't know. I was just like, she said, what? Oh, man. So they're like, you know what? This is the golden egg right here. At 6 o'clock, mind you, 9:35, she was in, 9:45 they started. It's now 6. They take her out to Craig Creek Road. Tell us what happened. So she takes them where the killing occurred. She tells them everything that happened. She's giving them a timeline of, what, when, where, and how. And they're eating it up. So then, shortly after midnight, now it's 6 p.m. to midnight. That's a whole lot of talking. That's a whole lot of giving up some shit. That's when the interviews stop. The questioning stop. And this is when they would arrest Natalie. And they would arrest her for unlawful concealment of a body and accessory to murder. They didn't read her rights. They hightailed it out, had some uniforms come, shackle her up, process her. Now, I don't know if processing reads you your rights, but I'm thinking not, because the detectives met her at the jail the next day around 12:30 and brought a form for her to sign, stating that she was read her rights, because they read her rights and then gave her this form and had her sign it. She asked a couple of questions, but in less than 2 minutes, she signed the paper. And after she signed that paper, they took her back out to go more evidence hunting. She just going. So she's out willy-nilly looking for some evidence, some more evidence. The detectives get a phone call. A lawyer showed up at the jail for her. This dizzy broad. She signs an addendum to her rights, waiving her right to be taken back over there and be presented to that attorney and deal with all that. She said, I can wait. He can wait. I'll talk to him when we get back. They even get back and she forgets. She don't even ask about him. And they ain't gonna volunteer nothing. So I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So she's just an idiot. So basically, she's just continuing to tell him the different he did this. He killed her. He did this, and we planned it. She was very, very vocal and kind of gleeful about the fact that she got to plan the murder. So the heifer is right where she need to be, but at the same time, I'm like, is this something wrong with her? Because she, and I'm the main one for miss me with your crazy and your childhood life and all that turned you into whatever you are. I don't like that. But I'm just a little concerned that the fact that they had a conversation with somebody who told them that they hid a body. That doesn't sit well with me. But that's neither here nor there, because I still want her to be locked up, and she is. So she went on to tell him that, they went looking for areas to where they can kill her and where he can kill her. She never once said she wanted to kill her or that she was going to kill her. Never once did she do that. So, but his attorney, David's, he got his clients back. He does not have yours, and don't give a damn about yours. So it was like it's every man for themselves. He would go to tell, when they get to court, and tell the jury, she did it. She was the one who wanted it done. She was the one who, they have, all this evidence on. She's the one who did it. She's the one who said she was there. She said she did everything except for kill her. Why would you do all of this and not kill her? And my client, all they have is circumstantial evidence. Nah, bro. They got more than circumstantial evidence. They got a whole human giving a confession that his ass killed her. So, but it's like this ping pong battle going back and forth. And I'm like, okay, what's the deal? So at the end of the day, Natalie would get, I believe Natalie got 40 years. She got 40 years in prison for accessory before the fact of first degree murder. And she'll have 10 years probation if she gets out after 40 years, because who knows, she may get in there and get killing up folks in there. I don't know. So she got 40 years and 10 years after. And she went on trial after David. So her attorney never said anything, never commented, while David's attorney is constantly throwing the bus at her. Not throwing her under the bus. He throwing the bus at her and saying she did it. It was her. And I know that, they know that, that's how pretty much the only way you're going to get that other client off is if you blame one client, but it was pretty bad because they're steadily blaming her when her trial is after his. So it's like, okay, well, they just said that you did it, so we're going to believe you did it. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh boy. But he would plead not guilty. That was, to me, the most comical. I'm like, dude, they got evidence on top of evidence on top of evidence. You should have been trying to plead, beg, something. I don't know. But nope. Bro's like, I didn't do it. His attorney thinking, oh, we're going to get the phone messaging suppressed. They're not going to be able to do that. And we hear that they got a palm print and it's Natalie's on the shovel. Okay, have you confirmed that? No? Okay, yeah, probably not going to work out for you. So, and they don't. So they go, it's his time. They, the prosecutor is laying it all out on the line. I mean, she make him look worse than bad. And it's like, whoo, bruh, you can't come back from some of the stuff she was saying that he did. It's pretty much the medical examiner alone pretty much threw you on the table and put the needle in your arm. Said that she was beat. Her neck was broke while she was alive. She had no defense wounds. And she was stabbed 14 times and her jugular vein was severed. And that's what killed her. Dude, really? Okay. So we're supposed to believe that Natalie did that? Okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying she's not capable of doing it, but I'm just saying. So here comes the defense with, you know, he didn't do it. It's not him. It's her. You only have circumstantial evidence. Yeah, okay. Well, your client he spent 30 minutes the day before Nicole dies looking at knockout drugs. How long does it take a body to burn? And how does the TV serial killer Dexter get rid of a body? Really? Really? You couldn't come up with nothing else better to Google? So we're going to go with the TV killings. All right. I see you. So tell me again how it wasn't him. His parents had to sit in the courtroom and listen to the prosecutor tell how he and Natalie were thinking of switching out her anti-rejection drugs. Because remember, I said she had a liver transplant. They were going to switch them out with cyanide. And how they drove around looking for an area to carry out the murder. Like, they just driving around. And how they went and bought a shovel at Walmart and then got them on camera. So I'm like, and the parents, they just look beyond miserable. Like, I really felt bad for them. I feel bad for all three sets of parents, because you never know what your kid is going to do you don't know what your kid is going to do when they wake up and walk out their bedroom in the morning, let alone a kid who is no longer living with you and is away at college. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know you raised them, and people want to say, well, you raised them and you should know, but come on now. Sometimes these kids, So he clearly didn't get enough hugs. And they look like they wasn't giving no hugs. So, you know, they look a little uptight, but they could just be the emotions. But the defense told the juror that the Commonwealth's evidence is basically circumstantial, and that Natalie is the one who was excited about the murder. She admitted to everything except for her involvement. And that, you know, she was not at the scene. Other than that, she was there. The defense would say how Natalie wanted it to be more of a permanent situation, meaning kill her, when his client only wanted to get the data cleaned, or the phone from Nicole that showed that he had communicated with her, and, you know, so that he wouldn't look like the pedophile that he was. That's all he wanted. He just wanted the phone. He didn't want to take her out. Natalie did. So he basically said Natalie's behavior, along with the shovel that Natalie's bloody fingerprints are on, is enough reasonable doubt for a not guilty verdict. That's what he opened up with, right? Bro, you didn't get the memo? The memo that said David's DNA was identified under the fingernails of the victim. Her blood was found in the victim's Lexus, in the back seat, in the trunk, and in various areas around the car. And oh, that handprint on the shovel? Well, yeah, Rama, sorry, but it was inconclusive. They don't know who it belongs to. So they can't say it is his, hers, or mine. They don't know. So that's nix that. So what else you got? I hope you got something else. Well, what I believe after all of this research is that they believed that the telephone evidence is what was going to get them off. They were going to suppress that. And once you don't have the telephone communication of him and all his lies and shit talking, you only got Crazy Girl. Not that Crazy Girl can't get you locked up, because, I mean, yeah, she told some doozies, but some of that made some sense. So it's like, but he thought he was going to get it suppressed. Once he found out, yeah, no, not going to happen. The judge says, no, I'm going to let it in, because your client handed his phone to one of the lead detectives. Why would we not think that him handing them looking at them right after, like it didn't leave from there. Well, we looking at it, of course, yeah, they transcribe it and they get it printed all out. But while they're in that room right then and there, she saw the text messages. Everybody did. So what are you trying to say happened between you across the table handing her that cell phone and her opening it up? So yeah, those got to come in. Soon as those got to come in, just as sure as they found her body in 4 days, they stopped this case in 4 days. He was like, hold on. I was just kidding about that. Not guilty. I need to confer with my client. Obviously he said, you keep this up, your ass gonna get the needle. So what we gonna do is we gonna plead no contest. So they did. The judge asked, you understand that by pleading no contest, you are admitting to all of these crimes. He almost got whiplash on how fast his head turned around to his attorney. His attorney did something with his eyes, and he said, yes, sir. So I guess they forgot that part before the judge asked it, but they cleared it up. He went on and, he fixed it. But he did let him know, he was like, you didn't have no plea deals. None of this came from the prosecutor. No. Okay, so you're admitting to this. Yes. Okay. So his attorney is thinking, all right, he's admitted to this. We're going to give him, he should get whatever the sentence is. That attorney somehow, some way thought it was 30 years. Yeah, no, it wasn't 30 years. The judge was like, yeah, no, that's not what we're doing these days. We're doing 60 years. Well, he got a total of 75, but he got 60 for the first degree murder. And his attorney thought he was going to get 30 for that. Yeah, I don't know. He was off by 30. So he got 60 for the first degree murder, 10 for the abduction charge, and 5 for the concealing of a body. And after he does 50 years, if he don't go rogue and get gangster and kill somebody else while he in there, he gets out after 50 years. He has a mandatory probation for 20 years after that. So that's a pretty good, other than the needle. I'm a big advocate of death penalty. You take a life, your life should be taken. I know that's not going to sit well with a lot of people, but that's my belief. You don't have to have the same beliefs. Just like I'm not for everybody and everybody is not for me. Some people don't deserve to be on this earth. Some people do. You take a life, you need to go to. That's how I feel. That's just my opinion. And you know what? This is my show, my opinion. But like I said, they both got very lengthy prison terms, so it's not too many people can be really angry. But the prosecution has an opportunity after they put in this to say, well, this is the evidence we had that would have put your ass away. And they wanted to read it out, and they did. And I was originally going to read it all to you guys, but this episode is just really long. So I'm going to put it up on my website, where you guys can look at it. Sorry for any podcasters that listened to it and came over here thinking I was going to read them verbatim. I really was, but it was so much in this case. And I actually didn't even cover every single thing that I do in the podcast because of the time I take giving my opinion. Here I lose more time where it's a 39-minute episode over there, and here with my opinion it turns into an hour. So I'm not trying to keep you guys forever. And but basically they don't post they don't give you the information about him and Nicole, basically for respect reasons. Like, okay, it's bad enough that she died. We don't need every little thing she said and all that out. It was basically to let everyone know that his ass was texting back and forth with a 16-year-old that they couldn't even give her a name because she was 16, and they called her BB. And she actually, like, she had already identified as his girlfriend and been, had been sexually active with him or whatever, like with him. So I'm trying to understand, well, then how the hell were you talking to this, trying to figure out about this little girl? And then I'm still stuck on, what about poor little Natalie, who clearly had feelings for you? And then another little young girl, dude, yeah, you're clearly a pedophile. And so he basically, like, his fate was sealed with the text messages to her, because he basically says to her that she tells him, come over. Well, he tells her, that Nicole disappeared, and she called and asked, and he was like, he's tripping or whatever. But she tells him, she says to come over and bring some protection. This is a 16-year-old. David replies, with all the shit that came out about, that came about because I couldn't keep it in my pants. No, I think I'm done for a bit. So basically he's saying, because I was, chasing Kat, I'm now in trouble, and it's a whole bunch going on right now. Not the fact that you killed this girl when we don't even know. We are not even 100% sure that he had sex with her. He was just texting her or sexting her or whatever they're calling it. But dude, that is not reason enough to want to go to jail for the rest of your life for murder. Clearly he thought it was, so he did. But that sealed it right there. Clearly you just admitted, because his lawyer kept saying he never admitted. Every time you hear something about him doing it, it's coming from Natalie. He never said he did it. So that there pretty much sealed it for him. And his lawyer knew it. The prosecution knew it. Everybody knew it. So that's basically the case of Nicole Lovell and the Virginia Tech college students who are in jail now for the rest of forever will not be engineers, who have ruined the lives of their parents and their friends and everybody around them. And that's it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for almost an hour. And tell a friend to come on over and check me out and subscribe. Please leave comments. Let me know what you want to see, what you don't want to see. If you have some case suggestions, any of that, just let me know. And I thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of your weekend and the rest of your week, whatever day it is when you do watch this, and be safe and be healthy out there. He tells her that somebody, he's going to get somebody else to get rid of her. But it's like, okay, she's 16 years old, and he met her already. He has already been with her. He had been with her for like at least 5 times or something like that. And basically they've already had sex and everything. And this little heifer, she sends him a message and tells him to practically come over. Like, she now knows that something has happened to this little girl. So she's also a sociopath. I'm gonna need him to keep an eye on her. To come over to her house. So basically, so they can have sex. This is great that his ass decided to lead with the little bit of brain he got left, because he goes on to say, no, me not keeping it in my pants has already got me in enough trouble already. You think? Yeah. So I'm just like, but my whole thing is like, so he has no reason why he did what he did or even talk to that girl, because you already were talking to this little 16-year-old here. Then you still got Natalie. And then I'm sure there was a whole bunch of girls at Virginia Tech. So I'm just like, really? Really? Like, you had no reason whatsoever to commit this crime, to put yourself in this situation, to put anybody in the situation. None of them. So clearly you are where you're supposed to be, because it makes absolutely no sense for you to be this callous. He even went so far as to say, well, the police are dumb, and he's telling this to Natalie, text. the police are dumb. I don't know if they haven't said anything. The news hasn't said anything. Now this is all before they actually picked his ass up. He was texting this. They don't know anything, so you give it a couple one more day, and they won't even be looking for her no more or us. And then he went on to say how they went overkill on disposing of the body, and then says, well, you can never go overkill when your life is on the line. You think? I was just like, well, you ain't thinking overkill on not oversharing, because your ass shouldn't have never text nothing ever. And so it was just so, it was just looking at him and looking at her. And what was extra was his parents. They were so stoic, like they were sitting there. Now, mind you, they sat there and listened to the prosecutor talk about how him, David, and Natalie were thinking of poisoning, switching out her medication that she has to take for anti-rejection were with cyanide pills, how they were planning and going and checking out the places that they were going to kill her in advance. His parents are sitting there listening to this, like they're in there. And I'm not saying that, you can't, don't feel sorry for him. Do feel sorry for him. I really don't care either way. But at the end of the day, they didn't do it. Yeah, your psychopath child did, but they did look like they didn't give some hugs, but they just kind of looked a little uptight. But it could have been they was feeling all kinds of ways, like their brain, like Natalie's parents were, they didn't even know what the hell. It was like these four parents did not know their kids. Did not, absolutely. Stuff that was coming out in Charles, like, who thinks like that? What? Who, huh? So it just comes down to, you got these two little kids. I don't even know what the hell they were thinking, why they were thinking it, how they were thinking it. It was just dumb. She more so than him, because he was doing it because now he doesn't want to be a pedophile. He doesn't want to get caught. He knows he was going to be in trouble. So therefore he was like, okay, I can't do this. I need to fix it, but instead of letting the girl down easy, hoping that it just dies out and go away. I mean, because it would be a little bit better to be known as, a pedophile, or, I mean, no, nobody wants to be known as a pedophile. That's pretty bad. But I would rather be known as the pedophile rather than the child murdering pedophile. You know what I mean? Like regular pedophile, child murdering pedophile. I don't know. So it's just like you went that extra, because there's pedophiles walking around all over. We walk by them every day and don't know who they are. You could have still had some type of life. And then honestly, he was 18. I'm almost positive so many people would have overlooked that in different situations, around, because they still say that the 18 mind is not, fully developed. And I mean, I don't go for that, because these kids now, I don't know if it's in the water, it's in the chicken, it's in something, but these ain't normal kids, because I played when I was 15 with dolls still. These kids, they stopped playing with dolls at 4. And I'm just like, what? They looking for makeup and nails and everything else. And boy, no. So yeah, the world it's doing a whole number on everybody. But at the end of the day, he went to jail practically for the rest of his life. So did she. This particular case, honestly, I do feel she should get some help. And she should be locked up. I'm not saying not lock her up, but I do feel she got kind of the raw end of the deal, because I just feel like that conversation for 27 hours, something about that just doesn't sit well with me. I'm just like, and you can tell something is not mentally right with her. So I want her to stay locked up somewhere, but maybe more so in a hospital. Yes, people are going to say, well, she was an engineer student. Yeah, but she could be like smart in a certain way, like how they have autistic where they're brilliant, but they don't have people skills, or they don't have other, there's certain things they can do. she might fall in there, or she may be schizophrenic. She could be anything, but just check it out. You know what I mean? Because there was clearly something wrong with her, because she just didn't seem like a normal 19-year-old girl in college. Even though I saw some pictures of her where she looked normal, I still think that it is something doesn't sit right with me about her whole little, how it went about for her. Now, dude, personally, you took a life. I think your life should be taken. I am an eye for an eye. That's me all day. So don't ask me to do a case where you think that the person is innocent and he locked up, because that ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna find a reason why he should be where he at. I promise you. I have the best researching skills ever. So, but I mean, and I'm not saying there's not innocent people locked up right now, but I'm just saying the cases that I do, I research them thoroughly. And the killer in this case is David Eisenhower. His ass is right where he needs to be, if not on a cold table with a needle in his arm. So, like I said, I'm all for a life for life. The girl, on the other hand, she helped him. I'm not sure what's wrong with her, because I'm still I'm torn with her. She batshit crazy, but I still think there's something. I'm not saying let her out, so don't come attack me. I'm just saying something doesn't sit right with me about that. But at the end of the day, you have 3 sets of parents that have lost their kids, 2 sets that can still see their kid. But at the end of the day, this is not good for anybody, not even the community. It's a very, very tragic case. And I don't know, I'm one for maybe somebody didn't give some hugs. They need some hugs wherever they're from, that town. But thank you for hanging with me. I know this was a long one. I hope you stuck it out. And please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe, or at least come over, check it out, push play, walk around, clean your house, let it run. I don't know, something. But if you if you have any suggestions, if some cases you want to hear, leave them in the comments, or you can go to my website. All these documents and pictures and everything will be up there, beyondevilpodcast.com. And it's, like I said, it's somewhere around here. And until next week, have a good one. Be safe.